All right, the first thing I'd recommend you do is remember that whole issue of like opening the file and choosing delimiters and all that stuff. The first thing I like to do is I like to save it in the format that I want to be able to open it next time. So I would recommend going to File, and this is important. You don't want to hit Save, you want to hit Save As, and I'll show you why. So when you go to Save As, it lets you pick the kind of file you want to save it as, right? And if you see right here, it's defaulted to it says tab delimited, but that's really a CSV file. We want to select that to a workbook. Excel workbook. Now, a CSV file is made up of these things called ASCII characters. I forget what it stands for, but it's basically just text. A through Z, uppercase, lowercase numbers, special characters, but it doesn't have any like computer code in there. It doesn't have macros or formulas or any of that stuff. When you choose to save it as an Excel workbook, it saves everything, including your graphs. So if you do all of this work, this is important. If you do all of this work and you save it as a CSV file when you're done, all of those graphs and formulas just went away. So that's why I say the first thing you should do is save it as a workbook. And then every time you hit the save option after that, it'll just save over as a workbook to the file you named it as. And that'll just help you keep everything up to date and in the right format for the next time you want to look at this. So we're going to save this as an Excel workbook. There's a bunch of options on here. You can see there's one right here, Excel 97 to 2003 workbook. They made a Microsoft Excel or Office package so bad back in 97 that it has its own file format. And it's almost impossible to change some of the text options and the graph formats once you save it as this file type. It's really a pain in the butt. So although it'll work, I highly recommend saving it as just a general Excel workbook. All right, and then once you got everything selected, just go ahead and hit save. And now everything we do to this, including manipulating our graphs and changing the formats, that'll all stick now. All right. So now all we have here is just a graphical representation of our data points, but we don't actually have anything that tells a story, right? So now we want to start cleaning up the graphics so that they look pretty. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Don't think what I'm telling you is a hard, fast rule. So if I tell you, oh, the dots have to be this size, that's just a personal preference. You can make them whatever size you want. I'm just going to show you how to get there, all right? So does everyone have their graph pulled up? All right. If you select your graph, depending on where you select your graph, you'll get different options on what to do with that. So because I randomly selected on these lines right here, if I double click those, it's going to give me an option to manipulate those lines. Whether I want to make them thicker or make them disappear or whatever, right? So what I want you guys to do is select your data. Click on any of the data points on your graph and just click it once. And what you should see is you should see a highlighted area of your data set. So when you select the data, Excel will give you a visual representation of what you've just selected, right? And they separate it, everything's color-coded as well. So different parts of the graph are in different colors. So the blue part right here on my graph, that's that is our independent variable, that's our y-axis data. Our x-axis right here is highlighted in blue, and then our labels, green, and this one didn't select, but that's okay. So, all right. Every time you select something in Excel, it's trying to point you somewhere. So if you click on something and you don't get the normal menu, it typically means you clicked on the wrong spot. That's nine times out of 10, people are just like they're trying to adjust something and they just have the completely wrong setting on there. That's usually where the mistakes I've seen made occur. So we're going to right click on our data point and we're going to format data series. And we're going to get this the secondary window that pops up, and this is where we're going to start playing with our data points and making them look pretty, yada yada. So if you go to marker options, it's automatic. I'm going to change it to built-in, and I'm going to go with something super small. What was that? Can you repeat the question?